KGVO Missoula Sports Talk Tonight and streaming online at Newstalk, KGVO.com.
Well, Denny, if it's melting outside in the city of Missoula, it must mean that it is Sports Talk Tonight with Gurnsey and Bedard. Holy cow!
The sultry month of July is upon us.
I was out in the driveway about an hour ago helping my son put together a basketball hoop, and he said, "Dad, your boobs are sweating." I was like, so they are.
So you're raising a very tactful young man. I'm proud to hear that.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
about as tactful as me.
Yeah,
Denny.
Yeah, it sounds that way. It sounds that way.
But it is hot.
Good, yeah.
The thermometer in the car said 98 degrees, and it's supposed to be hot, just like this all the way through, heck, next weekend, as far as I can tell.
Played some golf on Saturday evening. It wasn't quite as hot over the weekend as it is now, but it was around 90. Even we went out about 6 o'clock at night, but there was a cloud covering, and by our rigid standards, it was dang humid out, which, well, the mosquitoes just pretty much, you had to tether yourself to the ground so they wouldn't, carry you away.
Fly you away.
Yeah, it was muggy on Saturday, but hopefully dry conditions for this coming weekend and beyond.
Exactly. This is Sports Talk Tonight. We are live from the KGVO studios. Remember, we are streaming worldwide on Newstalk, KGVO.com. On the AM dial, 1290, over on the FM side, 98.3. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Podcast online at Newstalk, KGVO.com. Our phone number, as always, 721-1290. Did you have a good 4th of July, Denny?
Well, Jennifer wanted to do a little extra work, so she came in and we worked on Saturday, and then we had Sunday off, and then she wanted to work on Monday, so I came in on Monday, and then had Tuesday off. So I got in
the whip.
I know it was weird to have it on a Tuesday. I guess just kind of a little bit disjointed, but I think a lot of people did cash in on that and made a 4-day stretch out of it, so that's good. But played 9 holes like I told you on Saturday night. Played 9 holes, caught 1 bass. So that to me is a decent weekend.
Wow, win-win.
Yeah, went up to 9 pipes yesterday. So.
Very cool. I played golf on Monday later in the afternoon up at Double Arrow in Sealy. Course was beautiful. My golf
haven't been up there in years.
Game wasn't. The course is beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean it's great.
I gotta do that. Got to get back out there.
It is great, but in the world of Coca-Cola, the holidays are where we're busiest. So you don't take days off around the holidays. So I was in Sealy. I drove back Monday to work. Then I drove back. And
well, you sound like what I did. Yeah, pretty much the same deal.
And luckily, I was able to take the day off to kind of recuperate a little bit and let the sunburn calm down. And but anyways, hey, we have. Oh, you know what? Before we get to our guest, how cool is that last Wednesday out there? At the
I really appreciate them inviting us, and man, we got to get on location more often. I don't know how often an opportunity like that would come up, but we had a blast.
I ran into Bobby Houck on Friday, and he made it a point to come up and just say how awesome our interview was and how much he enjoyed it. And I was like, really? I go, what?
What? We did something
right?
I
was like, well, cool,
Yeah, he was proud. I got a big old bear hug. He was probably one of the first guys I saw when I got there to set up the gear. For those who don't know, Destination Missoula Sports Commission, what we're talking about, the celebrity sports event that was held out at the new part of the Fort Missoula complex, which is gorgeous. And you and I situated, other than,
the wind.
don't know, what are you, 25, 30 mile an hour winds? Other than a strong wind, it was just perfect. But Kyle, our producer, he kind of situated us in front of a fireplace. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't on.
It wasn't on. But it made kind of a block from the wind. But my gosh, from the coaching and administrative side, we have former sports information director Dave Guffey. We had Coach Mick Delaney and Coach Bobby Houck, like you say. And yeah, he was one. I got a big old bear hug. He was one of the first guys I saw. So I'm glad he had a good time during his interview with us.
Colt Anderson,
right. Jordan Tripp,
Chase Reynolds.
Yep.
Somebody else we're missing.
Well,
here.
we had a guest from Destination Missoula to open the show. So we had like 7 people on in an hour. We were knocking them out.
Yeah, very cool.
But it was very nice to be invited and be a part of that. Thanks to, I think Jim O'Day pulled a few strings for us to make sure we had a spot to set up there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Good job, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Speaking of community, big time community events.
We'll
get Tony. We'll get to trivia later on in the show because I'm just happy that he could find half an hour for us. And given, I would say this is probably a little busy of a week. When
maybe
when you're kind of heading up the Missoula Marathon.
In studio with us, Tony Banovich, the executive director for Run Wild Missoula and the race director for the Missoula Marathon. Welcome, Tony.
Welcome, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we love being here.
Your annual visit. We had you did we have you before?
We were here. We were here last year. I know we came and visited with you,
and it was before the event, right? We didn't talk about after how it went, but I think maybe we got you on a little bit earlier than 4 days before the deal. So we're glad you could make it.
Holy cow! And is it hot enough for you out there, getting everything set up and put in place?
Yeah, more than hot enough. We're getting our sweat on this week.
And for us weather nerds, I said to you before we went on, I said this has got to be the forecast. This got to be the hottest one ever, and you said no. Right?
No, the very first one in 2007, it was 100 degrees that day, and we got done with that and wondered, man, are we going to have a second annual Missoula Marathon? And for some reason, people came back, and so it's so going to be. We've actually had 3 years where it's been over 95. So
okay,
not that we like that, but it's what it is, and Mother Nature's going to do what she's going to do, and we're going to figure out how to deal with it.
11th year?
Yes, number 11.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're thrilled that we've lasted that long and continue to be a successful event. So yeah, we love being here.
Now the Missoula Marathon got pretty popular pretty fast, did it not?
It did. It was fairly popular for the first 3 years, and then in 2010, the readers of Runner's World magazine named us the best marathon in the United States out of all of them. And that came from the readers. And that was the tipping point. And that took us to a whole different ballgame. We doubled in size from 2010 to 2011. We just kept growing. So now we're at over 5,500 participants.
Now, why do you think?
Big deal.
Why do you think that is? Is it the scenery? Is it just how the road's set up? Is it the beer afterwards? I mean, is it how they're treated in the town, the community? I mean, what do you?
It's every one of those things.
Yeah.
It's we do a first class marathon, but they get that small town experience. Where people are excited to come out and cheer them on from their front yard, and great sponsors like Big Sky Brewing providing a free beer at the finish, and just all of those things. We try to take care of all those details, but give them a Missoula experience. And where else do you get to go? Be circled by mountains everywhere you look on the course. You cross the river multiple times. You're running along the river in multiple locations. It's just a spectacular place, and people love it. And they want to come back and be part of it.
Well, and you talk about an opportunity to preach to the choir. You get in a magazine like Runner's World, and you're a marathon. My goodness, but I got to believe that publicity like that, it manifests itself too, because you have all these people coming in and taking part. And if they walk away with a good experience, which I got to believe just about everybody does, they're going to let everybody else know about it.
Yeah, and that's so we try to keep track of how people found out about us. And our two biggest areas are people that have done it before or they heard about it from a friend. So it's that word of mouth and good experience, and that's what brings people back. So, and we're thrilled about that. That means we're doing something right.
Yeah, and I don't get the impression that it's Missoula has a reputation for being a pretty laid-back, funsy place, but I get the impression that when you start saying marathon, when you're talking about marathons, you get some pretty competitive interest.
Yeah, we do. We get a good competitive side. But yeah, we've got the majority of our runners and participants are the average recreational runner that want to go out and challenge themselves, and they want to come to Montana because it's a great location, and Missoula is amazing. So it's a no-brainer for a lot of people that this is the place they want to come and spend a few days or a few weeks and run a marathon while you're here.
I'm sure every 50 states are represented. Who's the farthest? What country has been represented?
Wow.
Maybe an interesting one.
So I think the one that we have from furthest away is Saudi Arabia. So we have 9 other countries, Canada obviously, but I think we have Belgium, the Bahamas, Saudi Arabia, Sweden.
But Saudi Arabia is used to the heat, so
they're used to. They're going to have no problem, but
they're going to think it's cold.
Yeah, but getting a Middle East country, that's a long ways away.
No kidding.
I don't know if they're just here in the States doing something, but that's their address, so we'll take it. We're excited to see somebody come in from there.
And you talk about the kind of heat that even in 90 to close to 100-degree days, Missoula is a little bit different experience. It's not like the day starts in the upper 80s or low 90s and just hangs there all day, but not. I mean, you still have to factor it in because not everybody is going to be done by late morning, early afternoon. So you do have to account for that kind of heat. I think you'd like some watering stations along the way, right?
Yeah, we provide a lot of water at the aid stations. We got 15 aid stations, and that's great. But one of the things we love to see, and people do this every year, but this is a year we really hope to see it, is people come out and put out their sprinklers. They live along the course, they throw their sprinklers out. And that's a great way people can come out, get soaked in the water, and it helps them evaporate that water off their skin. Helps keep them cool. So it really seriously makes a really big difference. So, and it's a fun thing. It's the way that people just at their front yard can be part of the event. And they can contribute. So we love to see it.
Is being named the best marathon a number of years ago, but is the course itself part of the appeal? Why it attracts so many people? Is it uniquely Missoula, or is it kind of a template for a lot of marathon courses, or what makes it special?
I think it's uniquely Montanan. Okay. Not necessarily Missoula, but uniquely Montanan in that we start in Frenchtown. You run through these alfalfa fields that have I was out there this weekend. They've basically all cut their hay. They're out there baling, and so they're going to see bales and the irrigation back up. So we've got this agricultural base, which we have all over Montana. Then we cross the river on Kona Ranch Road, and then we head up onto Big Flat. And all of a sudden you're in this ponderosa pine forest, and it's this amazing, mountainscape. And then you drop in, you cross the river again, you cross the Bitterroot at McClay Bridge, and then you work your way in through the tract housing, and pretty soon you're into Bonner Park and downtown. And so you work from this agricultural area through the forest into town, and you finish in the heart of downtown Missoula on the banks of the river in front of the Wilma Theater. And it's just such a unique experience. I mean, there's very few courses you see that combination of elements, and I think people love that.
You're listening to Sports Talk Tonight with Gurnsey and Bedard. We've got Tony Banovich, the executive director of Run Wild Missoula and the race director of the Missoula Marathon. And speaking of watering the lawn and the sprinklers, just get the kids out there with the hose.
Yeah,
and just make sure they get the okay.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Parents tell you, because I know when I had the hose in my hand. There has been many times I got the spanking because I was spraying people when they didn't want to. But
knowing you
out there in the chairs,
I would think a garden hose still brings out the 11-year-old in you for some reason. I don't know what.
Sometimes I water the lawn with the hose as opposed to turning on the sprinklers. Just because I like to.
So you can play.
I don't know.
I'm with you. No,
I don't know.
I want to get back to Tony the course one more time just for a quick second here. How was it designed? Was that by committee, or did somebody just come up with this really creative vision on their own? But how did the course itself come to be?
And does it ever change?
So the only change we've made is the very first year we finished on Orange Street, on the right after the Orange Street Bridge.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the course was largely the same. Then we moved it to the finish on Higgins. I lied. We actually made one change last year where we had one block up on South Avenue up by the Grizzly softball field. Okay. And it turned, as the race got big enough, we're seeing enough traffic and potential conflict. We changed the course a little bit to get off of South. But for the most part, it's really been the same course the whole time. And, course creation is kind of an art form in a little bit. There's some very strict criteria making sure it's accurate. But, you go out and look at where can we be out on streets that have as little traffic as possible. Try to minimize the crossing of major streets, which in Missoula is a little bit of a challenge. But, try and put those things together. It ends up being certified through a governing body. That certification's up in 2 years. So we'll be reviewing it next year and deciding if we keep it the same or make some tweaks. And a lot of things have changed. We've opened a new bridge up over Reserve Street, just down the street from where we're sitting right now. Fort Missoula has changed completely, so there might be some opportunities to maybe do something different. I don't know, maybe not, but it's something we'll look at.
So you have to get certified. Are there other people out there running marathons that aren't certified?
Yeah, so
their times might not count.
Yeah, and it's a big issue for a couple of reasons. One is, like many, ours is a qualifier for the Boston Marathon, which we have a lot of people coming from around the country that they wanted to, and it's a fast course.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so they want it to count. So we look for it to be certified. And also, we put together a really solid elite field, and especially on the women's side. So every few years, there's the potential that our course could be fast enough that some people could qualify for the Olympic trials on our course. So we want to make sure it's accurately measured and it's certified. So if that were to happen, that they're able to then go and participate in the Olympic trials. Because there have been cases where people go and run, they run the time, they're all excited, and it turns out they didn't meet the right criteria, and it's like, hey, sorry. And that is devastating.
I remember 1984. We had an Olympic qualifier marathon in Olympia, Washington.
Yeah, the Olympic trials were in Olympia.
Yep.
The first ever women's marathon trials were in Olympia. I went there. I was 22 years old and went and watched it in Olympia, Washington.
I was a newspaper delivery boy back in the day, and they had the special edition that you went around and sold. So
yeah.
Wow. Anyways, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We will have Tony back in the next segment. We're going to talk about volunteering. What else, Denny? And maybe a phone call here once you answer that.
We'll get participation stats, find out how that's going so far.
You bet. And we'll do that when we come back on Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Bell McCall is your locally owned low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in downtown Hamilton. And by Granite Pharmacy, locally owned and operated pharmacy on South Avenue between Shopko and Big Sky High School. Find them at granitepharmacy.com. And the Peak Health and Wellness, with 3 premier facilities in Missoula and a dedicated staff to help you achieve and maintain your health and wellness goals. And we're talking about health and wellness here tonight, Denny. That's a great little segue there.
Yeah.
I might say so myself.
Sure, you pat yourself on the back.
Yep. We are talking with Tony Banovich, the executive director of Run Wild Missoula, race director of the Missoula Marathon. And we were just talking off air. We don't want to get confused people. There's more than just the full marathon. There's a lot of different events that and the one leading off on Friday night you mentioned is the beer run.
The beer run, yeah. We like to think it's a great kickoff to our weekend.
Yeah. Carb loads.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's purely a social event. It's free. People just show up, and it used to be fairly small, and it's now grown. We'll probably have about 600 people show up this year.
Oh wow!
And it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's super kickback. It's a great way for us to take a lot of the out-of-towners and out-of-staters and show off the community.
Yeah. Do they actually have to run in the beer run?
We're not too tight on it, but we sure hope they do. Yeah, this year it might be a little different when it's 97 degrees. We'll see. But yeah, so we do the beer run on Friday. Saturday morning, we've got the 5K at 8 o'clock, and then we've got...
How many people do that, Tony?
So we'll have 1,300 people do that. So it's a big event, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's in the morning. It just kind of kicks off that day. A lot of excitement because we've got not just that, the farmers market's going on right down below us. Our runner expo is down in Karis Park, so you got all that stuff happening in the morning. It's a great morning. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got our kids marathon, which is a little over a mile. We'll get about 500 kids out there doing that, and it's a ball to watch them. They get so excited. And
what is the course for that one?
So this year we've had to make a little change because our 5K and our kids marathon both used to use the Madison Street footbridge, which is still closed because of the Madison Street Bridge construction. So we're actually going to head down towards the Natural History Center down at on Hickory Street, go over towards McCormick Park, get up onto the Orange Street Bridge, and work our way back in, kind of like to where the Triangle redevelopment is going on. There's a trail connection. And we'll get down and we'll finish right at Brennan's Wave. And so that's a great event. And then Sunday are the two big daddies, the marathon and the half marathon. So it's a big weekend of stuff.
And how many people are going to run the half, and how many people you think are going to run the full?
Yeah, so the half will have registered. We'll probably have about 3,300 people, and then in our full, we're at about 1,100 people for the full. So yeah, when you put that all together, we'll end up with around 5,500 people that will be registered to take part. The amazing part to me is we'll have over 450, I think is where we're at, people will do the beer run Friday night, the 5K on Saturday morning, and then the half or the full on Sunday. So there, we call that our Big 3 challenge. And it used to be we'd get a few, and now, like I say, we will have between 400 and 500 people take part in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're talking 5,500 people, but that's not how many people are in town for this thing. I mean, they got a support groups big time.
Yeah, they do, and they bring all those people. And so we have almost 50% of our participants are actually from out of state, and about 65% are from out of town. So that means we've got all those people that are bringing, the wife, the husband, the kids, the parents, whatever it may be. So, for every one person, you've got another 2 or 3. So we're talking 10 or 15,000 people coming in to take part as part of the weekend. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
And have they done a study yet on the economic impact of this thing?
Yeah, so we did one in 2013 with the university that was really formal, and that showed at that point. So that's been 4 or 5 years now. That showed about $1.3 million. Last year, speaking of Destination Missoula, we worked with them. We talked about where our participants were from, et cetera. They did some analysis based on data that they have and some algorithms, and they were looking at up to now, we're now approaching around $1.8 million for the weekend. We love that. We do the race because we love the race, and we love to run, and that's what we're here for. Equally as much, though, we love what we can do for the community and bring all those people, showcase Missoula, bring all that money into town. Good luck trying to find a restaurant on Friday night. Good luck. Yeah, I'm trying to get a seat at Draftworks or Big Sky Brewing or Kettle House, wherever. I mean, they're going to be packed, and it's fantastic. The energy downtown on Friday, Saturday, Sunday is just incredible. So we love that part of it because it just makes us feel good to see all those people walking around taking part in our community.
Did in the early I guess 05 the first year or 06 and in there, but those first few years, did any of you envision that this could become something like this? I suppose it evolved a little bit over the years. Then when Runner's World came out with their glowing review, wow! But did folks anticipate that it was it set up just because, well, we're Missoula, we should have a run, we should have a marathon, some events to go along with it, and then just boom? Or were there people that thought, hey, this thing's going to be huge, guys?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both of that. I think part of it was we're in Missoula, we've got a big running community. Why don't we have a marathon? But I think the people that were involved early on had that vision that not should we just have a marathon, but if we do that, why can't it be something big?
Yeah.
Did anybody ever envision 5,000-6,000 people? I'm not sure, but certainly the vision was we can be bigger than anybody else in Montana and be better, and I think we've done that.
Oh, absolutely.
There's great events elsewhere in the state, but and we're a little bit biased, but I think we do a spectacular job of our event, the way we manage our event. We try to bring some professionalism to it, but like I said, still give it that small town feel that. With the beer run, we get to hang out and talk to people, and still make it a good time.
And it's not it's about the runners, but it takes a lot more people than just the runners and even you guys that are kind of running the show to pull this thing off.
It does, yeah. So so you say us guys pulling the show together. It's 2 staff. I mean, our Run Wild Missoula Marathon staff is 2 people. This is all volunteers. We've got a great committee
that's incredible.
Does this all year long. That helps us. They're all volunteers. But then come race day is the biggie. We need over 800 people. We'd love to have 1,000 to really do it, but we need over 800 people to pull it off.
Well, and that's another reason I'm glad you were able to come in today, because that's not all a done deal, right?
It's not.
I know people are listening and thinking, well, it's only a couple days out. They probably got all that handled, but you would certainly welcome more participation on the volunteer side.
Absolutely. We really need course monitors. Those are the people out watching the course to make sure the runners turn the right places, to make sure cars don't get in there and cause some safety. And we could really use course monitors still. And it's easy to do that at MissoulaMarathon.org. In the upper right corner, there's a tab there for volunteer. Click on that tab. You can sign up. It's easy. It's quick. You commit yourself for a couple of hours on a Sunday morning and really make a difference to the quality of the event.
That's what's great. That's another great thing about this town. Whenever there's a need for volunteers or for help your neighbor out, I know that this community gets behind this stuff.
I see you filled out the form to make sure the beer is chilled to a correct temperature.
Well,
that was the one you.
Well, if I could run a mile, I'd be happy.
Big Sky Brewing came and said, we got just the guy to take care of that. And I'm pretty sure they were talking about you.
Scott Gurnsey. Yeah. He's famous for that.
I've served a beer or two in my time. That's for sure, Danny.
Again, the website, Tony, that's the best way for people to get a hold if...
Yeah, that is. So, again, MissoulaMarathon.org, not just volunteering, but if they're interested just finding out what this is all about, that's the spot where all the information's at.
Can I ask you about, before we let you go, I know you got to get rolling here, but what about entry fees? Are we comparative to the rest of the country? How do we stack up there?
Yeah, so we provide a lot of amenities for, right now, the entry is $127. Sounds steep, but you go look at places like a Boston, a New York, a Chicago, it's $250. We're very competitive, especially for the size of event that we are and the amenities we provide. So we think we're a great value. And if you get in early, that's today's entry price. If you get in on the early side, you are paying $85. And so to have a marathon of our quality and our size to be under $100 at any point is a great value. So yeah, we like to think that we're well worth coming to. Yeah.
No, that sounds excellent. And again, you have such a great reputation for being a popular, fun, successful event. I would imagine that people in that that like to participate in these, that sounds to me like a pretty reasonable deal.
Yeah, and with all the different events, the full, the half, the 5K, the kids marathon, the beer run. I mean, it's not just for your world class athlete. It's for anybody. It is for the whole family.
It is. So Run Wild Missoula, we're here to support running and walking for all ages and abilities. So that does, we're going to have 2, 3, 4-year-olds doing the kids marathon. I think we have 13 people over 80 registered for our events this year, and everything in between, all sizes, men, women, all paces, all experience levels. We want everybody to come and participate and have a good time and make it part of the bigger, healthy, fit, active lifestyle that's so important in Missoula.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great morale builder for yourself. It's a great it's goal setting. A lot of people have never run in a race before that do these marathons, and to complete one of them after putting in the time, and maybe maybe they're running for a friend, maybe they're running for somebody that passed away to cancer, maybe they're running to lose weight. I mean, there's so many positive things in finishing a race that
And I think you tend to have a pretty good cheerleading squad along most of the route, right? Just residents that they're not participating, they just kind of want to come out and go, way to go, keep it up.
And that's how they participate.
Yeah.
And we need that. I mean, we'd love to have the spectators.
Oh,
and so we have a couple spots out on out in the big flat area now. We have a couple guys that come out every year on their horses, and they cheer them on for a while. And we've got a gentleman that lives on River Pines Road down by the Maclay Bridge that brings out his baby grand piano, gets underneath a tent, has his tux on, and plays for a while. And he comes out every year, and it's people.
Oh, that's hysterical.
People, that's like a highlight to him.
That is great.
Oh my God, I got to see the piano guy again. Yeah. It's amazing. And
got to get that in the brochure, man.
We do. We've used those pictures plenty of times. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Tony, I know you got to run. Good luck with the marathon. Hope you get 6,000 people participating in the deal, and we want to hear all about it when we start talking about it next year.
Yeah. No, thank you for having us. We love talking about what we got going on.
Awesome. Tony Banovich, the executive director, Run Wild Missoula, and race director for the Missoula Marathon. Hang on, Tony. You got something there, Denny?
Well, my friend Patrick Nikolai is listening to the show. You know Pat, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Pat said that is Gary from Morganroth Music is the piano celebrity.
Yep.
He just wanted to give a shout out, give him credit for that.
Yep, and Morganroth takes great care of us every year. They donate a bunch of our sound equipment for us, and he comes out and plays music. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So again, before we let you go, we're keeping you longer.
No, this is great. We love being here.
You'd like volunteers can still volunteer to do what, Tony?
Yeah, so course monitors is probably the single biggest thing we need. And if we can get people to come in and help us with sign up for those positions would be amazing.
Okay, all right. If anything pops into your head last minute, please use my email, drop so we can get some extra coverage out on the radio if there's any last minute thing that comes to mind that you need some help with.
Yeah,
right?
get those sprinklers out there on the course. If you live out there, keep those runners wet and cool.
Awesome. Right. Well, have a good time out there, Tony. Run safe. Tony Banovich, race director, Missoula Marathon. When we come back, just the normal boring stuff, Denny.
Yeah.
Sports Talk Tonight.
We'll play a little trivia.
All right, we will.
You'll do stupid. You'll do steal.
Not necessarily in that order.
Not necessarily in that order.
Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse, Big Sky, Big Selection, and online at grizzlyliquor.com. And by Orange Street Food Farm, locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. Well, I tell you what, Danny, we keep outdoing ourselves with these guests.
He's a great interview.
Tony Banovich, the executive director, Run Wild Missoula, the race director for Missoula Marathon. He, along with all of our guests, is brought to you by First Montana Bank, your home for free centennial checking, plus unlimited cash back every time you use your debit card, online at firstmontanabank.com.
I know that the Missoula Marathon was the priority to have him come in here, but, to your point about, well, gosh, do we have enough questions to prepare, to carry 26, 30 minutes or whatever? And we probably could have asked him a little more about the Run Wild Missoula.
Yeah, we didn't get into that.
His job, and it is fun to have great interviews like that on. He just did a wonderful job.
Well, and it's got to be fun to do what you love.
Yeah.
To have a part in putting on a great event, helping the community. I mean, it's a family thing. It's a town thing. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
No, and when you get to a point in doing that, for what are we on now? The 12th year, 11th year of it is coming up.
I think it was 11.
The reputation precedes you. You get all this favorable publicity. You just know that you're going to have a home run every single year.
Oh,
and so to have basically a staff of two, like Tony said, it relies on so many volunteers, and they get them. Well, we got 800, but
we take 1,000.
A couple hundred more if you don't mind.
What?
Yeah, MissoulaMarathon.org and watch it happen. They'll find people that course monitors primarily, folks. But if you would like to participate in that way in the Missoula Marathon activities, it's not just the 26.2 mile race. It's also all the other things going on. Visit that website.
It's got to be a very gratifying thing.
I'll bet so.
Well, hey, Denny, they came out with they solidified the 2019 non-league Grizzly football schedule.
Seems so far down the road. I guess it's not, but it sure seems like it for some reason.
I tell you, the non-league schedule: South Dakota, in South Dakota, Northern Alabama at home at the University of Oregon, and home against Monmouth. I believe that's in New Jersey, but in Missoula here.
I think Monmouth came out this way a few years ago to play Montana State, if memory
serves. That sounds about right, yeah. Denny. But it's interesting. In 2019, the Grizzlies have 12 games instead of 11. 12. And I never knew. It used to be you got a 12th game if you went and played the University of Hawaii as part of your schedule. And I don't know why they're so dang special. But, I mean, I had a good time over there. Yep. But the NCAA permits an FCS program, an extra game, in years where there are 13 Saturdays between Labor Day and the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
it happened in 2014, it happens in 2019, and it happens again in 2024. It sounds like every 5 years, if my math is correct.
It's a strange deal. I guess the moon and the stars and everything has to line up to do it that way, but seize the opportunity. I don't know that Montana would walk away from an opportunity like that very often. You don't have to play it, right? You don't have to,
we've seen 2 byes before in a season.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though. You've got I believe, if I read this correctly, that they're all going to be, except for Oregon, FCS programs. I believe North Alabama
they are.
will be one. Monmouth is one. South Dakota as well, and Oregon. It's interesting. South Dakota on the road might be a good game. They seem to be getting the Yotes seem to be getting better. You play Northern Alabama at home, which you kind of go, okay, that looks a little easier. Then you go to Oregon, which that's going to be tough as heck.
Yeah.
And then you've got Monmouth, which you would think would be a little bit easier. So, I like that schedule. I mean, it looks good to me.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if they're getting harder to come by. They probably are, because you look at a situation that Montana's in, being an FCS school, and we would just as soon don't want any lower division games on the schedule. And I think they're doing a really good job of making sure that doesn't happen. I think some of this Gurns was caused by Liberty, for instance. Liberty dropped us from the schedule, so they had to fill in a blank there.
Correct.
That was part of it. But you look at Washington this year and Oregon in 2019? Yeah, money games.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as big-name FBS schools are willing to have you, take the opportunity.
Well, and then look at Eastern Washington has had great success.
They have
against FBS schools over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes you go, well, why the heck would you ever schedule to play a lower division? But Oregon in 2019, okay. Washington this year, not a good year to play the University of Washington. But hey,
no.
But hey, you never know. You never know.
Make a strong showing. Try to keep it close going into the fourth quarter, and maybe they get a little uneasy. You could say, well, it's only Valparaiso, but at least the Grizzlies get a game under their belts prior to going on the road to play that one. Sure. The Huskies do not.
Sure. So there you go.
Maybe if I tweak and iron a few kinks out before that. But it is a major uphill battle. But I still think it's nice that if those schools are willing to give you the opportunity, take the opportunity.
Exactly. What else you got, Denny? What do you got over there?
Well,
anything cool?
I do know that it's time for Scott Gurnzey's Steel of the Week.
Ooh,
if
sure.
That's agreeable to you. That's brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products. Gurns, the Steel of the Week.
This is a good one, Denny. I put a little, I don't usually put any thought into this stuff, but I put just a smidge.
Wait, so this is the steel and the thought of the week.
Exactly.
Woo!
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Spoiling us.
Yes, we are. So, Florida Marlins. They are in the process. So Jeffrey Loria, their owner, has said time and time again that he's not going to sell the team. Not going to sell the team.
Does that mean he's going to sell the team?
He's going to sell the team. And so you've got a bunch of different entities kind of trying to raise the money, bidding on it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
15 years ago, Jeffrey Loria bought the Florida Marlins for $158 million. They figure it's going to sell for about $1.2 billion.
I was going to say that won't buy a dugout these days, will it?
Jeffrey Loria, you're stealing that. But there's more, Denny. Oh, there is more. In 2009, so 15 years ago, what's that, 2002?
Yeah.
Buys it in 2002. And he's kind of the one that's, did they win it twice, Denny? And then completely sold the team after that? I think they won it twice. If it was once, that's fine. But
no, I think you're right.
But
I remember they beat the Yankees one year.
Yeah, but then they got rid of all their stars, and then were crappy for a couple years, and then they did it again. Whatever. So in 2009, taxpayers in I believe it was Dade County paid 3/4 of the new $645 million Marlins park. So 3/4, 600. That's about what, $500 million, let's say. 8 years later, right now, it will wind up costing the taxpayers over the life of the bonds that were sold, $2 billion. So they thought they were on the hook for about $500 million, and as it turns out, with interest and all that stuff, it's going to cost $200 million. So not only did the taxpayers $2 billion. Not only did the taxpayers pay for most of the new stadium, and Loria is going to sell it for $1.2 billion. That is my steal of the week, Jeffrey Loria, for better or for worse. And
that's not necessarily a totally uncommon business model either. I mean, there's a lot of owners who have pulled that off, saying, they go in with the bigger fool theory of, okay, fan base, what is it worth to you? What's it worth to you, the business owner, and the city's economy, and what's it worth to you that has a passion for the sport, and what is it worth to you that wants a Major League Baseball team in your market, stuff like that. And they
crazy.
Yeah. Righteous bucks. I think the guy on Fast Times at Ridgemont High once said. Steal of the Week is brought to you by True North Steel. How about a stupid, Gurns, before we go to trivia and break?
Boy, this is silly. There's a lot of stupid athletes out there. And this gal's not stupid, but I feel really bad for her because just something really stupid that happened in her sport.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to you right before the show started. UFC fighter Justine Kish. She was trying to get out of a rear naked chokehold in her most recent fight. She ended up winning. And for lack of a better word, she crapped herself in the middle of a match. I didn't see it. I don't know. But, okay, so that happens. Okay, embarrassing.
Yes.
Well, I probably would have started crying myself. I don't know about crapping myself, but I would have cried definitely. Some fan offered her $15,000 for her soiled wrestling shorts. Like, legitimately.
Oh, man.
And you, my friend, are the stupid fan of the week.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway, sorry, that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next subject.
Next subject is trivia. Normally we do that a little bit earlier in the hour, but Tony Banovich had such a busy schedule, we wanted to get him on earlier in the show, so we moved trivia back. That brought to you by Fuddruckers and Happy Days Car Wash. If you know our trivia, 721-1290. And you win a $10 gift certificate to Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. Whatever you order off that phenomenal menu of theirs, they call out your name when it's done, and you go over to the prep tables. You just pile it on. Put all your favorite toppings on there. And from Brent and the crew at Happy Days Car Wash, a gift card for The Works Car Wash. That's one of their biggies, friends, at Happy Days. They are on Brook Street between Pizza Hut and Fairbridge Inn and Suites. So a $10 Fuddruckers certificate and a gift card for The Works Car Wash at Happy Days. If you know our trivia, at 721-1290. I don't think we're going to work you too hard tonight. It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot.
Yes, and since we had Tony Banovich on, Missoula Marathon weekend, that means thousands of feet hitting the ground while running. So the term that refers to the way the foot strikes the ground while running is A, pronation, B, plyometrics, or C, arching. The foot strikes the ground while running. The term used for that is A, pronation, B, plyometrics, C, arching. 721-1290. Gurns, got to have a winner.
We do. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. Locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. And by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana's source for Cynics fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. Give us a call. Win the trivia, 721-1290. We'll have a winner, hopefully, Danny, when we come back right after this.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
Well, heck, Danny, we're back. Sports Talk Tonight, Gurnsey and Bedard. We did trivia late, but that doesn't mean we don't have a winner.
That's correct, Gurns. It is Mike Hertz. Mike, how are you tonight? Are you there, Mike?
Yes, I am.
There
How are
you
you?
are. Oh, great. How's it going for you this evening?
Awesome.
Yeah, out there practicing for that marathon this weekend?
Now my running days are over.
Me too.
I always say, I don't run because, the bag of cashews bounces out of my shirt pocket.
So you're going to say the bag of cash. I was like, what?
Well, Mike, Missoula Marathon weekend, so lots of feet hitting the ground while they're running. The term that refers to the way the foot strikes the ground while running is A, pronation, B, plyometrics, or C, arching. What do you think there, Mike? Hertz?
Pronation.
Yeah. I don't remember what plyometrics is, and I just made up arching, so we're down to A. If someone is an overpronator, their foot rolls inward while running. That's not necessarily good. If someone has excessive wear on the outside of their sneakers, they're likely an underpronator. Getting fitted for proper running shoe can help with correcting both. We were looking for a pronation. Mike Hertz did a good job. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for listening to Sports Talk tonight. We really appreciate that. And
my pleasure. I like it.
Thank you. We'll get your prizes mailed out to you, all right?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening. That's Mike Hertz, our latest winner. He's from Missoula, Gurns.
That's good that we have an audience in Missoula, Denny, because usually it's from the outskirts.
The Bitterroot usually dominates trivia, but yeah.
Wow.
Came through on Missoula Marathon week here on Sports Talk tonight.
Oh, wait, Denny, I was reading ESPN today, actually Roto World, and it's where I get all my instant information, the trades, the stats, all that stuff, and I'm looking at the NBA and the basketball, and football's a tough sport. Hockey's a tough sport. Baseball is a long, drawn out, it's hot. Basketball's pretty easy in comparison, right or wrong. I cannot believe how much money these guys are making. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know half the players in the NBA anymore. And Joe Schmo just signed a $60 million four-year extension. I'm like, $15 million?
If you know half, you know a lot more than I do.
Well, when I say half, I know the name.
Yeah, but it blows me away. I mean, I noticed that some in baseball, but I think, like you say, just the nature of the sports, less players involved and whatnot. So you think, well, given that, you probably know a lot of these NBA guys, but you factor in the foreign players that are very, very good and very successful, but you didn't follow them in college. You didn't hear big publicity on the freshman phenom that are going to be one and done, and I think this year's NBA draft really illustrated that. They either came close to a record or set a record for the number of one-year college wonders that got drafted really high in this year's draft. So, yeah, but you factor in some of those. Who's this guy? And you go, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean he must be pretty good.
No wonder these owners are trying to bilk the city. Was this a prank that I saw on Facebook, or was this for real? I didn't bother to look too deeply into it, but if the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, there was an artist rendition of their new colors, their new team colors, and they were like a very light blue and yellow. I'm sure they would say blue and gold, but it was blue and yellow, and I didn't know if somebody was. I'll tell you what, that Raider logo with the swords crossed and the guy in the eye patch looked really weird. And I didn't know if somebody was just playing a prank or what that was.
I would bet all of my money and it's not a lot, that is complete horse pucky. I mean,
gotta believe that.
You cannot change the silver and black.
But it was bizarre. I assume somebody was just having fun, maybe doing a little photoshopping or whatnot.
Yeah, hey, just think if they were this color. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Kind of like when the Grizz went to the maroon, I went, nah.
Yeah.
Now it's okay.
Now it's okay to be the spirit colors.
Yes.
But you were a school color.
Man, I was, and my dad and grandpa still have the ugliest hats you've ever seen in your life.
The copper, silver, gold?
Oh, they're trucker hats.
Oh, sure.
Bright yellow.
Yeah.
Spitting bear.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're classics.
The malnourished drooling bear.
From the tummy.
Which I really That's right.
of the grizzly
Which
bear.
I got to admit, I kind of missed when it first went away, and now I look back at it now and go, yeah.
Hey, you know what, Denny? Congratulations to my wife.
Oh.
My wife, Kelsey, just got hired as the head grizzwear buyer at UC Bookstore.
Seriously?
Yep. And she started back there last week, and glad to be back, and she deserves it because she's pretty good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations,
so
babe.
I guess her duties are kind of self-explanatory, but what all will she have to do now? I mean, make a lot of contacts with people?
Well, you know what? Well, and the contacts that she had before, because she is going back to work there. She already worked there.
Oh, this I did not know.
Yeah, but just, Grizzwear, bookstore, game day, she's kind of in charge of that now, so
yeah.
pretty cool.
So, can I tell my husband of the year story before we?
Of course. Oh, you better, Denny. This
Before
is
we
good.
go away.
This
Yeah.
is good.
We got about a minute.
I wished I was you.
I think I can knock it off. Knock it out in a minute and a half.
Do it.
University of Montana football games. That's a work day for you and me. I mean, doing
it's an important time of the year.
Pregame and postgame. And so when the Grizzlies are playing ball, we don't go anywhere on those weekends. It's just not in the cards. Well, wedding anniversary is October 21st. Grizzlies have a bye October 21st. Jennifer is a huge Green Bay Packers fan.
Big time. Fantasy football player. She knows her stuff.
Yep. And so so I start looking at stuff. And I see, bye week for the Grizzlies on our anniversary of the 21st. Packers at home hosting the Saints 22nd. So I get to thinking and get to spending, and I get into the point of no return. And surprise her with an early anniversary gift. Gets to go to Lambeau Field first time, which I'm looking forward to. And we see the Packers play the Saints on the 22nd. So
wow.
I surprised her with that over the weekend.
Yep, and if you're Facebook friends with Mr. Bedard and Jennifer, she was ecstatic is the term I will use.
I've done good, but it's going to be a blast. We're really looking forward to it. So
well, she better be bringing you coffee every Saturday morning.
Yeah, it just all fell into place. So life is short. How often is that going to happen?
Hey, I like those kind of stories.
Yes, sir.
Denny, see you next week. Sports Talk Tonight. We're out of here.